Welcome to Sonographers in the Cities, where we connect through sound with your hosts, Lynn and Geselle. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Sonographers in the Cities. I'm Lynn.
And I'm Geselle.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. And if you've been tuning into our other episodes, thank you so much. We appreciate you. This episode is 2 days before Christmas. So happy holidays to all of you who are listening. If you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. If you celebrate Hanukkah, Happy Hanukkah. Any other holidays that you are celebrating, I hope you have a good, safe, fun day with your loved ones.
Yes. Happy holidays, everybody. We are coming for the end of the year. It is our 60th episode. And we're basically just going to hang out and talk and, kind of end the year together with Lynn here, who is now a sonographer. So if you guys miss our past episodes, she has passed multiple registries, as well as now is working in a hospital setting. So we're definitely excited for her, and go to listen to those episodes. We're going to catch up with her today. It is 3 weeks since she's been a new grad sonographer. How do you feel?
One word, exhausted. Just kidding. Yeah. I am exhausted, but I'm also still in that post-grad excitement of working, where I'm learning a lot. A lot of the exhaustion is mostly mental, because every day is just, I have to focus a lot on all my studies, doing the protocols correctly, learning the operations. And it's just very draining at the end of the day. But the good thing about my job is that once I clock out, I don't think about it. The only time I think about it post-work is when I talk to Geselle or when I do the podcast. So, which is fine. It's really fun. And I'm glad that we have this space to talk about something that we like, in this episode. Hopefully, Geselle and I, we can share what we did this past week and all the interesting cases that Geselle has and the things I learned.
Yeah, because now that we're settled in, and you're now, your days of becoming a sonographer are going to be behind you because you're going to have more experience. I mean, it's going to be really cool to talk to you about the cases that you've seen. And obviously, for you guys who are listening, these are things that you guys are working towards. Like, you are going through what Lynn just finished, which is school, or trying to get into school and doing the really hard part to become a sonographer. But now it's even harder because she is a sonographer, and you guys one day want to be a sonographer. So, props to you guys for listening to this podcast. We appreciate you guys. I don't know if you guys saw Sono Eyes Ultrasound, but she also promoted our podcast on her website, which is really cool. So thank you so much to her. Shout out to her. Go follow her on Instagram. But this podcast is just for us to talk about everything that we kind of go through. And so if you're new here, welcome. We are so glad you're here to listen to us. And we're just sharing our experiences. I've had a lot of interesting cases recently. If you guys didn't see on my Instagram, go follow that. LOL Geselle. And don't forget to follow Lynn at DMS Diaries, so you can kind of see what we're going through. But it is a whole different world being a sonographer now, instead of a student. And what's the thing that you've learned the most in the last, I guess, let's say, few days since you've been working?
Independence. You know, you fly solo. Yes, I have the senior sonographers to look over my studies, my images, and my reports, make sure that everything's correct before we send it to the doctor. But the moment, you know, I put my name on the patient or the exam, that means I greet the patient, I take them in, do the exam, and walk them to the waiting room for them to check out. They're my responsibility. No one is, you know, walking with me or being there with me. So the independence and the responsibility is a huge adjustment of being a new grad sonographer. So that's the
Yeah.
biggest thing I learned. Like, you're on your own.
Yeah. And I know you've been really busy with work because you do work Monday through Friday. I actually had a student in the Discord recently who had asked a question about how to deal with burnout as a student because she does clinicals Monday through Friday.
Ooh.
So, do you have any suggestions or tips or advice for her since now you're kind of in the Monday through Friday sonographer status? It's kind of, similar, but also different, right? Because as a student, you're doing other things and dealing with studying and school and trying to keep your personal life on check as well. So
I
now
know.
that you're a sonographer, do you have some words of wisdom for that person?
I actually was thinking about this on the train ride home because I'm like, how is this different when I was exhausted in clinicals? When I was doing clinicals 3 days a week and then 2 days classes, I'm like, it's like, how is it different? And it's like, I'm so tired after clinicals when I was in school, and now I'm tired after work. Um, the only difference that I can think of is that being exhausted in clinicals and in school is a little bit better than being exhausted at work because, again, I said once you're working, um, you can't really, you know, half do your work halfway because every patient you should put 100% of your time and effort in that study, and you do that every single day. Meanwhile, as a student at clinicals, if you're there 5 days a week, you know, get all the studying, all the observation, Monday to Wednesday, or choose your battles, I would say, because that's what I did when I was tired during clinicals. I would, oh, this is an interesting study. I'll use it for my case logs and, you know, it and learn about it. And then the other studies, like the routine studies that you've seen a lot, I would just maybe I won't um, observe this one and I'll sit this one out and just study when I need to take a breather. So for the student who is asking that question on Discord, I would say choose your battles on certain days, the days where you feel really, really tired, but you have to be there. Be transparent with your preceptors. Say that, hey, I'm really tired today. You know, like I want to take a little bit, take it easy today. And um, I need to study. I have tests, or I can observe one or two cases. Just be mindful of like all the other things that you have to do. As long as you get all your assignments, all the cases that you plan to get within that week, I think you deserve 1 day break.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
It's definitely a different feel to have the burnout as a student and have the burnout as a sonographer, but they're totally real and they're totally things that everybody goes through. So if you guys are going through that, just know you're not alone and it's good to reach out. And I applaud that person for
yes.
reaching out into the Discord and asking for advice. So great advice. It really is truly hard to be a sonography student and to be a sonographer. So we appreciate anyone who's going into this field and keep on pushing through and stay positive, and it'll be worth it at the end of the day. I'm sure Lynn can attest to all the hard times, as a student, we will all go through. But when you finally get that job and you finally get a paycheck and you're able to stand on your own 2 feet and do a full scan on your own without needing anyone's help, that is kind of what that is all about.
I have a question for you.
Hmm.
I recently have a DM about it was a sonography student who didn't take the SBI yet,
Hmm.
and they went to a non-accredited program, um and they don't have opportunities to do clinicals, or don't know how to sit for a ARDMS exam. And they're feeling demotivated and lost. So, do you have any advice for students who are in this place?
Okay. So so a lot of times with those situations, it's kind of hard because you have to read each situation individually. So I love
Mhm.
when they do send those messages.
Yes.
But you do have to dive deeper into their program and their background and what they're going through. So non-accredited program didn't take SPI yet. Did they graduate?
Yes.
Yeah. And then no, and they did clinicals already and all that? No. So they finished their program but need clinicals.
And would like to sit for the ARDMS exam.
Mhm. But they finished the program,
Hmm.
but they didn't do clinicals.
Hmm.
Hmm. How did
It's
they finish
tough.
the
It's
program?
tough.
Like,
It's a
because
tough.
shouldn't they have had clinicals?
I mean, it depends, because there are some programs where you
With
just have
no
to find
clinical.
your own clinicals. You have to
Oh,
find your. And
okay.
I know that there's one unaccredited program in New York where they have sites for you,
Mhm.
but as it's not enough to be under a prerequisite to sit for ARDMS.
Mm,
Um, and I guess there's a form on ARDMS where if you shadow or observe under a registered sonographer
right.
for a required amount of time, you
Yeah.
can sit for a registry exam.
Hmm. So they would need to find someone that they could have
Yes.
sign them off for SPI basically.
Hmm.
Because I'm not 100% like familiar with ARDMS prerequisites. So obviously
I'm
that would,
not either.
yeah, that would obviously be my first thing. I'd be like, okay, one, you know, congratulations, obviously, on finishing your program. But two, because it's unaccredited, that's the whole situation. So you would need to find the prereq that you follow under and or that you're going to want to sign off and be under, right? And figure out how you can get that requirement to take the test. Because I don't, it depends on where they live, like how they're able to get the clinical site or the person that they can train under. Um, so yeah, it's kind of a very tough situation. So my thing is, can they ask anyone from their program or who they know from networking or throughout the area that they live in that could help guide them, right? Because the one thing you need is guidance in what you can do, which is what we are obviously here for, right? We're here to
Yes.
help guide students and prospective sonographers, but that's where they would need to find as an expert or someone in their area or who went to that school. I mean, do they have any classmates that could help them or professors that could give them, hey, like this is what you can do? Because it is different all over, right? Some states have different actual rules when it comes to ARDMS. So that's where I would say is to start with. Like, obviously, no fault at them for like going to a non-accredited school because, like, obviously mine was non-accredited, but it was a bachelor's degree, so that's also different. But yeah, if they need help, obviously they can join our Discord or
That was my suggestion.
and see if they can ask around anyone who
Mhm.
would know. I saw a few like ultrasound techniques, Narupa, like where she lives, she's going to be hosting classes for certain things. So I'm only assuming this person can find a place or someone in their area who can help them. So yeah,
I
send them
see.
our way.
Yeah, they said that they went to the program during COVID for clinicals.
Mm,
So
wow.
obviously that makes it challenging for, the clinical experience during
Hmm.
COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, your advice is really good. I will let them know that we discussed this
Yeah.
on today's episode so that they
Yeah.
can check it out. I also refer them to your podcast because hopefully, because did ask them if they know any registered sonographers in the area where they can, ask to shadow, observe, learn, but they don't. So hopefully,
Mm,
your Discord community is the biggest one that I've known to, have direct messaging and direct contact.
yeah.
And hopefully they'll find
Yeah.
someone in their area in your Discord.
Yeah. Because we get a
And
lot of people in there that are like, oh, I'm there too. Or,
yeah.
I mean, but there's so many cities in the United States, right? Or all over the world.
Hmm.
And there's a lot of ultrasound people out there. So even Facebook groups like the Just Sonography Facebook group like is a good place to start as well if you want to send that to them.
Hmm.
Um, a lot of people are very helpful in there, and even my Facebook group. So it's definitely there are places they can reach out to. It's just going to be difficult.
Yes.
Um, but that is a pure example of COVID being difficult or having no clinicals in person and becoming a sonographer, you really need that hands-on experience because there's no way to
Definitely.
become a sonographer if you can't really get your hands on a probe. And SPI it's very important. I know people can take SPI without scanning, but
Hmm.
it's also very important to understand the scanning process with it as well. So yeah, definitely a tough situation, but good on them for reaching out.
Yes. That's the most important step, reach out and then get some guidance. And yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully they'll reach out to you for the Discord community
Yeah.
and get
Send
that
them over here.
support.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad that they asked, and we'll definitely help them because it is hard. This community is really amazing. It's definitely one where everyone helps each other out. If you guys see any sonography Instagram and you see their posts and stuff, give them an ad and a follow because we're all just sharing our experiences. So, with that being said, do you have any special cases that you did in the last 3 weeks that you want to share?
Special
Special,
case.
interesting, something
Interesting.
that caught your mind that you're like, "Whoa."
I've been doing a lot of like routine studies or stent surveillance, bypass surveillance. So that's the coolest one I've seen. This patient had 3 stents on the left leg.
Mm,
So one stent at the common femoral artery, one stent at the superficial femoral artery, and
wow.
another stent at the anterior tibial artery. Did I say that correctly?
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just ATA.
yeah, ATA. Do you wanna explain to, let's say, maybe a student who doesn't know what a stent is?
A stent is a I want to say is that a plastic graft? It's not a graft.
It's
It's
like a
I,
sort of
it's like a
material.
mesh material where they put in a occluded. I wouldn't say occluded. Uh,
Into the vessel.
into the vessel that's narrowing with a lot of plaque to open it up again
Yeah,
so
like
that blood can flow. I think that's a really, really
elasticy. Basic.
basic
Yes.
explanation.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was going
Remember,
because I was going to, oh, if it's occluded, then they have to do endorectomy, and then if it's like occluded, the stent is occluded, then have to do a bypass. I was
bypass
going
or
through
graft
all the possibilities
in your
I'm like,
mind.
no, I need to like narrow this down in the simplest.
To the simplest of, I'm a regular person who has
Yes.
no idea what a stent is. What that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No.
yes, those are the stents. So this patient had 3 stents in one
Wow.
leg.
That's a lot of stents.
And our arterial exams, it's so detailed. Like every portion is proximate distal. So CFA, SFA, top all the way down, proximate distal, every single thing or segment. And with the stent, we have to do, pre-stent, post-stent, proximate distal, and visualize the edge of the stent and the flow. So it's very tedious, and I had to do that for 3 stents. At the end of one leg, I'm just like, I'm done.
I'm glad I don't have to do that. So,
but yes, that's my most interesting case because it's just very detailed. And other than that, everything else is like routine.
Yeah, nothing that's crazy yet.
No, I'm not there yet.
Eventually.
My coworkers yesterday, they got a TOS, which is thoracic outlet syndrome. They found one. Thoracic outlet syndrome is, for those of you who don't know, it's when there's a nerve, right? A nerve compressed on the subclavian artery.
Yeah.
You learned that in school. But
like, wow, that's fancy.
That's the simplified definition. And then the other ones, there was a lot of FMDs. So we saw a lot of
is that fibrovascular dysplasia?
Yes. Thank you. Along with that is the median arcuate ligament. So the compression of the celiac trunk.
Wow. That's actually like fancy stuff that we just learn in school and don't, many people don't see that.
Yeah, we see them Wednesday and Fridays.
Wow.
I don't do that yet because, it's research, it's part of research. So the senior sonographers do it. But just to know that they're there is very exciting.
Yeah.
Another one is we don't see this often because we're not abdomen, but one of my coworkers found an occluded celiac trunk.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've never seen one of those either.
I gotta find the images. That'd be cool.
That's cool. Yeah, definitely share them because I know that you've been sharing some of your images that you've been taking.
I try. I really try to. For those who follow me, it's like I am trying my best to update your stuff, but work gets in the way.
Yeah, as you can
stick with me. Thank you for your patience.
Nope, we totally understand. I know that it gets, and like I just don't understand because you work 5 days and you have to go home, you have to cook dinner, you have to work, and you have
adult life.
Yeah, it's just a lot. And like you only get 2 days off. I get 3 days off, but still that one extra day makes a big difference. Working 5 days, it's a lot. I can only imagine. But we're still waiting for your posts and your images. We'll be here.
Yes. I feel like eventually once I get my, into my groove, I can share
More
exciting cases. Because right now
Yeah.
I'm just doing post, procedure follow-ups.
Which is so cool and much needed.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm learning a lot of like procedure stuff, which is really good because it's good for your RBT. Hint, 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 hint.
Yes. Hint. And RBT is very popular and also one that a lot of hospitals will require because
Yes.
vascular is actually one of the most ordered exams in a hospital setting. And you need to find DVTs all the time.
Yes.
Like that's like one of the most common ones is finding DVT.
DVTs all the time. And
Blood
I don't know
clots.
how many DVTs I got. I've
You got a
done
bunch?
this past week.
Yeah. Maybe one of these days we'll go over the DVT protocol and do a whole episode on DVTs.
Oh, we should do that for
That'd be
all the
fun.
protocols.
Yeah.
Anyways, backtrack to vascular being very important. I just
Yes.
remember because I'm still looking for job openings around my area because I'm curious like that.
Mhm.
A lot of hospitals around here and outpatient facilities, for general sonographers, they require RBT as well. I find that really interesting. And
Yeah.
then you mentioned it, so it just kind of clicked.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah, it's a really important thing to know because when people are asking, oh, what do they need to hire me? You should check online, see what the requirements are. Some people want you to have vascular for sure, and some people just want any RDMS or any registry, right? So
yes.
definitely make sure you're looking at that because you want to pick your first registry wisely almost and prepare for the right one.
Yes.
So we'll also do episodes on registries too in the future. We've got so many things coming your way. So it's a brand new year, 2023. We've got we're planning on doing a lot of the older videos that we had before in the past and topics, especially for people who are new to our podcast. And just to update, since when we first did those episodes, it was when we were still trying to figure everything out and the audio wasn't that great.
But thank you for
So-
those who are listening.
Yeah. And for those who keep on listening, because we do get our notifications, we get to see how many people are listening and watching on YouTube. So thank you for all the support. Don't forget to follow our Instagram for Sonographers in the Cities, as well as follow us on Facebook and subscribe to YouTube because we are still here and we're still trying to keep on growing.
Yes, and we can't do that without you. So do all the things that Geselle just said. And also, when you have a chance, if you haven't already, please rate us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, any platform that you listen, as well as write us a review where you can, because we really appreciate it. And that's how we grow and how we can be better for you.
Yeah. And if you want to be part of the podcast, let us know because we do have guests on. We just haven't recently because we've been so busy and it's hard to get everyone on at the same time. So next year, we're going to have more guests and more people on here. So let us know if there's anyone that you also want to see on here because there's a lot of new people on Instagram that we want to share their experiences and their stories. And there's a few people that I have in my brain that I'm excited to actually get on here that you guys should stay forward to because it's going to help you guys who are students and it's exciting.
Yes.
So
So excited for the new year and for what's to come. So thank you so much for tuning into this episode. We hope you have a happy holidays. Enjoy those festivities. I was trying to find the right word. Those festivities with your loved ones, friends, pets. Cherish those days because you never know. Just be in the moment.
Yes, you guys. And we'll talk to you guys in the next episode.
Thank you.
Bye.
Happy holidays.